I would start on a lighter note because the proceedings are going to be very serious. My colleague, my former student, who like you was sitting there and who had a baptism in Indian Law Institute and got a doctorate, today has blossomed and has given such a lofty introduction about me to drive the first lesson to you as a law student. What is that lesson? Lawyers have a notorious reputation. The notoriety arising from the fact when the case is weak, they give a long introduction, at least to impress the client who is the beer master. When the case is strong, they just get up and say, the facts speak for themselves, my lords. Ashwati Madhukumar gave such a lofty introduction about me just to warn you that the case is not very formidable. Don't have high expectations. Okay? And be that as it may, this metamorphosis in Dr. Ashwati Madhukumar is illustrative of the excellence in Euler Goa. Now, as a part of this program, we give opportunity to every student to come here and introduce himself and speak for a couple of minutes. Both of us will be standing next to them to instill confidence in them, because as Neil Armstrong said, that will be a small step for you, but giant leap for your family. Okay. With this, today's meeting is a confluence of 4 generations. The eldest among them all, 70 plus. Remember, sir, I bow down my head in reverence before you, because as a literature student, I'm always reminded of John Keats' poem where he says, you are not the first to be born, you are not the last to die. You have to hand over the baton to the posterity without allowing the baton to fall down. And our pious obligation, our solemn duty is to pass on that baton to the next generation. One is 70 plus, the other is 65 plus, the third is 40 plus, the fourth one is the amazingly talented 21st century I-generation Indians. Now, they were all born into the world of smartphones, okay, from 1995 onwards. You know what Barack Obama has told about you? Barack Obama was also a law professor before he became the president of the United States. And when he was campaigning for the second term, my brother is a US citizen in Silicon Valley. He came to Silicon Valley and he said, fellow Americans, I'm proud of you. Look at the last 4 alphabets in the word American. I can. And you have proved to the world that you can conquer the world. You have conquered the outer space. NASA is there. You have conquered the world of IT. Silicon Valley is there. But my question is, who is there in NASA? Who is there in Silicon Valley? Everyone excepting Americans, he said. You have Hispanics, you have Chinese, you have South Koreans, above all, you have aspirational Indians. Be careful about them, he said. Otherwise, American hegemony will cease to be a reality. And then he said, today I am addressing in IT capital of the world, Silicon Valley. And IT stood for information technology. That is still yesterday. From today onwards, he said, IT stands for Indian talent, and you represent that Indian talent. And that generation is in front of me. Okay, and let me assure the parents that I'm a favorite of Beatles music. And one of the finest songs of Beatles is Don't Let Me Down. We will never let your children down. That's the picture. Where Barack Obama stopped at IT standing for Indian talent, Gurucharan Das, the prolific writer, whose latest book was about liberalism in India. In fact, I am carrying it with me, The Dilemma of an Indian Liberal. It was released 1 week ago. And Gurucharan Das said, Barack Obama might have stopped at IT standing for Indian talent, but I'll go a step further. He wrote a book called India Grows at Night. India Grows at Night. And in that book release function, I was sharing the dais with him, along with Girish Karnad, or the finest man of letters from Karnataka and India. And the book was about to be released. I whispered in his ears, "Good Chiranjeev, why did you give the title India Grows at Night?" He mischievously said, "Maybe because the government would be sleeping." Maybe because the government would be sleeping in the night. But then he said, "Professor Saab, have you read the book?" I said, "I have read all your books. Don't you think that our brilliant students from national law schools, now UNL, Goa, IIMs, IITs, after graduating from here, they go to Europe and United States and work for the growth of humanity." He did not say for the growth of the United States, for the growth of India. And what is daytime for us is nighttime for them. And what is nighttime for us is daytime for them. Therefore, I said India is growing at night through these people. It is not called brain drain, it is brain bank, he said. It is brain deposit. They are coming back to India now, okay? And he, in that book, predicted that India would be the third top economy 10 years ago, which Modi ji is now picking up, okay? And then he said, Barack Obama might have said IT stands for Indian talent. But I would say IT stands for India tomorrow. That India tomorrow is represented by you. I represent India yesterday. Okay? I'm a cricket buff, you know. Not because we won the world championship, okay? Things happen. I have even watched live 83 when Kapil Dev won it. And to use the cricket metaphor, in a 5-day test match, I have started my second innings. Okay? Whereas you are yet to face the first ball in the unlimited test match in your life. And therefore, my hearty welcome to you all. Hearty congratulations to you. Let me first address the revered parents and grandparents who are present here. And make an appeal to my young little angels about two important things in life you must understand. While I was counseling the students, I found some mothers emotionally crying. Cathartic effect, it is called, purgation of emotions. A judicious mixture of joy and sorrow. Because today is Nelson Mandela's birthday. One of his favorite statements was, I did not circulate it to you. He said, "You don't have tears when you miss a person, but you have tears when you don't want to miss a person." How beautifully he has put it. You don't have tears when you miss a person, but when you have tears when you don't want to miss a person. Your mothers never want to miss you. But let me assure you, parents, we will be the locus parenting here, okay? We will provide the emotional support to you. I'll be playing the multiple roles of grandfather, father, vice chancellor, okay? And as a friend, philosopher, and not guide but textbook, okay? Because in certain contexts, guides have a misconcept notion, okay? Okay, so first thing you must remember is, when you embark on the journey, you should never let down three mothers. Who are they? The biological mother who has given birth to you. Rabindranath Tagore said, God created mother maybe because he cannot be present everywhere. Never let down your biological mother. Just remember, when you were 6 years and 7 years old, and you were a reluctant, school-going boy or daughter, as Shakespeare says, in all the worldly states. Remember, you were not willing to get up from the bed. Okay, your mother was trying to cajole you, persuade you, motivate you, okay, and make you go to school. And today, the metamorphosis that you are a beautiful butterfly because of the sacrifices. That is the reason why C.K. Prahalad, the management wizard from India, says, no IIM from Ahmedabad or Bangalore has more managerial skills than the mother of a house, who is ambidextrous, she said. With one hand, she sent the children to school. With the other hand, she gives coffee to her demanding spouse and medicines to her demanding parents-in-law, all with a smile, because she wants to be the fulcrum of the institution. Never let down that mother. If your biological mother has given you birth, your alma mater, foster mother, from today onwards, wherever you will go, you will be known as a product of Yolar Goa. Okay, this institution will give you status, will enable you to stand on your feet. Never let down this second mother, alma mater. The third mother is Mother India. Who cares whether you live or die if India dies? Who dies if India lives, and who lives if India dies? So take a pledge today that you will protect all these mothers throughout your life. And that's the first one. The second one I wanted to share with you. When I look at you, I become also young. That when I got a seat in medicine in 1970, I come from a family of doctors. My father advised, don't join. Because if you're a doctor, you will always be in the company of patients and sick people. But if you become a teacher, you will be always in the company of young, healthy minds that will add to your health. And I'm the only one who has strayed. All my family members are doctors. We have specialists from pediatrician to geriatrician, and I'm the happiest among them all. Okay. And therefore, when I become a 7-year-old kid narrating my experiences, I narrate one more experience as to how my teacher has influenced me in understanding the importance of the institution of family, nuances of family. Okay. And those were the days when we were required to write on the blackboard slate, ek pencil, ek slate, we used to go, and he understood that I had passion towards English language, and he started teaching me quick lessons in English language, and said, first we'll start with alphabet spellings, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, A for apple, B for box, like that. And when the word F came, normally you say father, but he said family. And then he gave me a challenge. You write all the spellings without any mistake and come back to me tomorrow, I will give you chocolates. See, as I do now, toffees, okay? And I took it as a prestige issue, like a 7-year-old boy, I got it by heart. I went with proud grimace that he will compliment me. I wrote all the spellings perfectly. He said A for apple, right, B for box, right. Then he came to F family, F-A-M-I-L-Y. He said it's a mistake. I didn't understand. I was a 7-year-old fellow and he was a 50-year-old elderly man. I said, sir, I have not committed any mistake. No, you have committed. Affectionately, he held me like this. I still remember the touch. You little fellow, you are looking at the spelling of the family, F-A-M-I-L-Y, without understanding the meaning. The meaning is father and mother, I love you. That's the meaning of family. Father and mother, I love you. If you are here today, it is because of the silent sacrifices of your parents. Okay. I'm not a physiognomist, but yet the facial expressions done yesterday when I was counseling made me cathartic, saying that how difficult would be those moments to have a judicious separation from your loved ones. Okay? That's the number one. Number two is my hearty congratulations to you because you have joined in a course which will take you to a profession which is the only profession mentioned in the Constitution of India. Please remember that. Your constitutional teachers, many esteemed colleagues of mine have expertise in Constitution of India and public law. Go through 395 articles and 12 schedules. You will not find a mention about politicians. You will not find a mention about IAS officers, doctors. But somewhere between Article 20 and 22, your constitutional teachers will tell you to be defended by a legal practitioner of your choice. That means today you have a solemn obligation to fulfill the constitutional aspirations and objectives. That's the baptism that you're going to have today. And from today onwards, whatever you do, the Constitution must be at the back of your mind and must be at the center of your heart. The Constitution must be at the back of your mind and must be at the center of your heart. And before parents and grandparents, let me humbly submit, even till today, my habit after I get up from bed early in the morning is not to have a look at the divine faces, but to have a look at the preamble of the Constitution. And ask myself the question, to what extent I have been able to fulfill the preamble aspirations both in my private life and public life. Sometimes you fail because we are human beings after all, okay? As somebody said, to err is human, to forgive is divine, but to admit is superhuman. When you commit a mistake, you must have the gumption to admit it. Sometimes when I look at the preamble, I feel I failed in my duty. Then immediately I pray the Almighty. Tomorrow morning when I get up from the bed, the answer should be less unsatisfactory or more satisfactory. So, and on the reverse of it, we have fundamental duties. This should be a constant companion to you for three things I would like to tell you too. Rome is not built in a day. You may be wondering as to how we will develop the skills. Very easy. Imagine yourself to be Bachendri Pal, who conquered Mount Everest. When you want to reach the top of the mountain, never look at the top. Take the first step. The altitude to be covered remains n-1. Don't look at the top again. Take the second step. The altitude to be covered remains n-2. One fine morning, the mountain is under your feet. And today's baptism is the first step. But what happens with us is, we are more worried about the pebbles in our shoes, and we don't take the first step. Don't bother about the pebbles in your shoes. Take the first step in the right direction, and you reach the top. That means your attitude will determine your altitude. But then, till yesterday, you were studying to satisfy your parents. As long as the bedroom light of your parents was on, you used to read. Once it was switched off, you used to sleep also. That's what I used to do. So, I used to satisfy my parents, to read to satisfy my parents. I used to read to satisfy my peer group, but never myself. So I was studying under pressure as a 10th class student, as a 12th class student. But today, you move to a phase where you must cultivate the habit of learning with pleasure and not under pressure. There are football players here. Yesterday I was interviewing them. Okay, Mr. Drew. He said he watches the Euro final live, though it was telecast at 12:30 in the night. If the same Drew is asked by the teacher to write an assignment, he will say at 12 o'clock I'm getting sleep, sir. Okay. You had the time to watch the Copa America at 6:30 in the morning. But when Anil Bansal asks you to write an assignment, you will say this old fellow has nothing else to do. And you don't do. What's the difference between these two? Therefore, but as long as you learn to live with pleasure, learn with pleasure, you don't feel it. For example, after 10 days, we'll be having Freshers' Day. Okay. We will ask you to display your extraordinary curricular and co-curricular manifestations of your prowess. You do rehearsals under the guidance of Aditi Madam, Riyanka Madam, okay, and do rehearsals for 24 hours without sleeping, even without winking an eye. Next morning you come to the function like a fresh rose in the month of April early in the morning. But if we ask you to take the examination on the same day at 2 o'clock, all of you will come and say, sir, please postpone. Attitude, okay? And if you started doing a thing which you like, you will never feel the pleasure of it. Mani Palkiwala was working for 20 hours a day. It's fine. The top advocates from the Supreme Court of India, they work for 18 hours to 20 hours a day. But they never feel the pleasure of it. Because as the American judge has said, you must do a thing where you don't require vacation, because every day is like vacation. You must do a thing where you don't require vacation, where every day is like a vacation. Start enjoying it. From now onwards, you will be learning with pleasure, remember. You will be accumulating wisdom. When you go to bed in the night, ask for yourself, what is that I have added in my mind today? Make a comparison between yourself of yesterday and yourself of today. If you have added something, see, your mother might have asked you when you were a 6-year-old boy, girl, when you returned from school, Betty, what is that you have learned today from you? Because mother expects the daughter to learn something. That means we expect the students to go back from the class wise and not otherwise. Isn't it? So those are the inputs that we'll be giving. Okay. And therefore enjoy that. And when you enjoy the pursuit of learning, but for that, the most important thing is you must first become a good human being. Swami Vivekananda, sorry I'm taking more time because I would like to acquaint you with these things, okay? Aswati, I hope I have your permission. Okay, that's right. Yes. Swami Vivekananda was once asked a question. How does goddess look like, Swamiji? Because people say daily you speak to Kali Mata in the evenings. We are ordinary mortals. We don't have that opportunity. Then Vivekananda said, is there God? That's all your imagination. But he didn't stop there. He said, perfect human being is God, and imperfect God is human being. How beautifully he has put it. Perfect human being is God, and imperfect God is human being. And education is that removes those imperfections. Education is the manifestation of perfection said. And then beautifully he says, that which bridges the distance between a human being and being human is education. Yes, we are all human beings, but how many of us are being human? And the lessons that would be taught to you in Yola would enable you not only to have you a functioning brain, which you have proved it already, by getting selected, by having IQ, but as Shakespeare says in Merchant of Venice, we want you to have a functioning heart also. Empathy for human beings. Former Chief Justice of the United States, Justice Warren, he was asked a question just before his retirement. Sir, whom would you like to appoint as judicial officers? He said simple formula. A good human being who also knows a bit of law. He did not say, I will take the first class people. A good human being who also knows a bit of law. Therefore, become a good human being. Now, what are the two qualities that are required to make you a good human being? As Mother Teresa said, passion for what you do and compassion for whom you do. That's a simple formula. Passion for what you do. Be passionate and be compassionate towards others. Okay? And look at the third quote of Nelson Mandela, which I have given you today, fourth line. You have the admiration, you have the love, that you treat everyone irrespective of his status. Right? Okay? And extending the same statement of Vivekananda, Mother Teresa, she is a professor of English, okay, and a senior teacher, okay. So, extending the same, Mother Teresa said, when you want to be a good human being, you must remember only one thing. You need not pray the Almighty, but you should. How can you love God whom you cannot see, when you cannot love human beings whom you see. How wonderful she has put it. How can you love God whom you cannot see when you cannot love human beings whom you see? Cultivate that habit. So when you become a good human being, you become a good lawyer. Because legal profession is called a learned profession, not because you are required to display learning. That's a mistaken notion. You are required to display good conduct, which is a consequence and corollary of learning. Remember that. That's the reason why legal profession is called a learned profession. And you are putting your best foot forward today. 2 more points I'd like to tell you. My congratulations to you for having secured admission in this institution. But please remember, any achievement in life becomes meaningless once you achieve it. Any achievement. We have won the T20 championship. Yesterday we lost to Zimbabwe. From sublime heights to abysmal depths. What is called bathos in English literature. Okay. Therefore, any achievement don't become complacent. Why? Next month we are going to have Olympics in Paris. Yes? And in Olympics you have different types of running races. 100 meters, 800 meters, 1500 meters. So you start the race at 0, go to 100, stop it. Start the race at 0, go to 42 kilometers, which is a marathon. Okay. But in real life, in the race for excellence in life, there is no finish line. There is only the commencement. So you have commenced the race for excellence today. Mother India beckons you. We have greater expectations. We have deeper sentiments. And the third point you must remember is, today's knowledge becomes tomorrow's ignorance. Please remember, today's knowledge becomes tomorrow's ignorance. Therefore, here in Euler, we have a passionate band of teachers who believe only in one thing. What is that? We have lighted a lamp. What does it stand for? You may say, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, yes. Okay. From darkness to light. From ignorance to knowledge. From fear to eternity. That's the moment. But that would happen when, like our teachers, all of us remember, when you read also, the job of a student, as well as that of a teacher, is not to cover the syllabus, but to uncover the syllabus. Please remember that. The job of a teacher as well as student is not to cover the syllabus, to uncover the syllabus, to remove the cover of darkness, to awaken your curiosity. Why? Shashi Tharoor says, with this last sentence I'll take leave of you, the basic difference between school education and university education is that in school education you were taught to answer the questions. How is President of India elected? What are his powers? Oh, he lives in Rashtrapati Bhavan. My teacher used to give 100 out of 100. Commander of forces, 100 out of 100. And at that time, the salary used to be 10,000 rupees. He used to say. But in university education, here, you will be taught to question the answers. Not answer the questions. Please remember that. Answering the questions may reflect your knowledge, but questioning the answers will reflect your thinking capacity. And here we are to enhance your thinking capacity. May Goddess Saraswati bless you all. And I bow down my head in reverence to parents, my hearty congratulations to youngsters, and on behalf of my colleagues, let me tell you, no hour would be ungodly for us to help you to attain perfection. We have a pious obligation towards each one of you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your words are always food for thought. Now we move on to the introduction of all faculty members as well as other administrative staff of the university. I request Honorable Dr. Venkata sir to kindly introduce all faculty.